if I could tell my children to celebrate me in any possible way on Father's Day, I would tell them, don't spend any of our money.
Yeah.
That is the greatest gift that you could give me for Father's Day.
Please don't spend a dime.
I want a day where you don't spend any of our money. Welcome to this week's episode of Teaching Keating.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
To me.
Yeah, to you.
I'm feeling really guilty.
And to our dads.
We didn't, yes, Happy Father's Day, Dad. Feeling really guilty we didn't do a Mother's Day episode.
I don't know why you're feeling guilty about it at all.
It's
I feel like
where I live.
I know, but I just think that holiday gets like a lot of attention. I don't really know if Father's Day does. I mean, do you think it does?
No.
We always go like shopping. I mean, you got a grill last year. TBD this year. You know, like we always celebrate, but I don't think it's like, I don't feel the pressure that you feel, like the fact that you just said, oh, I feel really guilty we didn't do a Mother's Day episode. Like, who cares? I don't.
Okay, good.
I mean, do you care? I don't care about it at all. I didn't even give it a second thought. Like when we were talking about like working podcasts, we're like Father's Day. I was like, great.
Yeah.
And then you immediately felt bad about not doing a Mother's Day, and I was like, I don't care at all.
Well, now I feel bad because this is also my idea.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. It's all good.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
But of the holidays that are celebrated most,
right? It's not
Day,
up there. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If I could tell my children to celebrate me in any possible way on Father's Day, I would tell them, don't spend any of our money.
Yeah.
That is the greatest gift that you could give me for Father's Day.
Please don't spend a dime.
I want a day where you don't spend any of our money.
That's not going to happen though. They are good gift givers. They're really growing in it.
Yeah, I am excited.
They really are.
That they are sort of like growing in being more generous.
Yeah.
I'm less
it's less
excited
about generosity.
that neither of them have jobs. And so the generosity comes.
Are you not excited that they don't have jobs at 15 and 13?
I mean,
and they do. I mean,
it's easy to be generous with somebody else's money.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, Char's babysitting here and there, but it's not super consistent. And
she has never offered up any of that babysitting money.
Not a dime.
No.
Not a dime.
No.
And Everett, like amidst his like, you know, he's mowing the lawns and doing menial tasks here and there, but like not anything consistent. No. He had a thought of like working at the golf course, but it was fleeting. It was like,
football schedule.
Yeah, I'm going to work there, and no, then nothing came of it. So whatever. But anyway, so no, they don't have an income to pay for your Father's Day gift. So it's okay.
Which brings me back to...
It's okay. It's the thought. They're getting better at really thinking things through, and not because gift giving like as a love language, I don't really necessarily do that, but just like being thoughtful and paying attention to like what you'd care about, I think is really important, and they're getting better at that. So that's good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't want this to be an episode where we talk about me. I think it's good.
Oh, really?
No.
I thought, okay, Father's Day.
No.
Okay. Good.
Let's talk about our dads.
Okay.
Let's talk
great.
about like both of us.
I feel like my dad listens. I don't know if Big Phil does. Does he? Maybe he does. I feel like sometimes maybe with your mom when he's in the car.
Yeah,
I don't know.
If my mom's listening,
maybe by proxy. I don't know if he like searches.
If you're listening to the podcast, it's probably single ear through mom.
Maybe.
So whether you hear any of this or not, who knows?
Yeah. I think mine dad does from time to time, which is even miraculous in itself that he knows how to subscribe on his phone. I'm pretty sure one of my siblings showed him, and if not, one of the people that works for him that is much younger.
I would be surprised if he's listening like through a podcast app.
I mean,
I bet he's going to westonkeachnick.com, clicking on the podcast, I bet he's going that way.
No, I think he has an iPhone. I think he probably subscribes.
Oh, I know he has an iPhone. And
Dad.
I probably also know that he's not listening.
Oh, I'm gonna have like my brother do some reconnaissance
laughing.
Or something about like how he's actually listening.
Because
I do need to figure it out, and I don't want to like go like.
This makes me think of one of my favorite memories of my dad. He still does it. Okay. My dad used to go out and mow the lawn, and when he did, he would wear. Remember the big headphones with the radio in them? He would wear those
with the antenna up.
Yes. Yeah. They were like yellow. And he would, whenever we'd go out to talk to him, he would always like, Dad, like it never registered to him like, hey, you have the headphones on, but we can hear you.
You just want to pop one of those off your ear?
Still does it Still does it.
Funny.
60 plus years, and he's still like, if he's got headphones on, he is going to scream into your face.
I mean, I think he probably does that anyway, here and there. But okay, so wait, what's our goal? Are we just talking about what great things about our dads?
Yeah, just like
Okay.
about our dads, about dads
Sure.
in general. So
Yeah.
like, what's one life lesson? We both had the benefit of having good dads,
Great dads.
and so what's one life lesson that your dad has taught you that you find yourself either passing down or wanting to pass
Ooh,
down?
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, you go first because I have to think.
Okay.
Okay. Or did you already have yours or you don't?
This one comes pretty quickly.
Oh,
for
okay,
me.
go ahead.
This one comes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like my dad was always really good. Like my focus on sort of like balancing work life
Sure.
really comes from my dad.
Okay.
Like lessons he taught me, like how to be a really, really hard worker.
Yeah.
Like my dad and mom both are really, really hard workers. My
agreed.
dad, I think it stands out for me more in my memory
Sure.
with my dad just because of his schedule.
Yes.
He would work alternating day and night shifts.
Yes.
So he would work 6
Rough.
in the morning to 6 at night, or 6 at night to 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And those would flip flop.
Ugh.
I
Yeah.
like to this
People
day.
that work nights.
To
ugh,
this day,
so
I have
tough.
no idea
Yeah.
how he did it.
Yeah.
But I remember witnessing that as a kid and being like, ooh, like this is what it looks like to work hard,
Sure.
number one.
Yeah.
And then number two, like sort of like the balance of like, you talked about this on on one of our last podcasts, which is like, hey, like when you're home, you're there for the kids.
Yeah.
That's my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
He's
my
very
dad.
present. Yeah.
Like he was, like I did not expect to get emotional about
okay.
this, but like I know that there were a lot of times when he got either no sleep
Sure.
or maybe like 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
worth of sleep.
Yeah.
And then he would get up and come to whatever my thing was.
Great. Yeah.
Or
a big deal.
just be there.
Sure.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Yeah,
And
especially on
and
no
as,
sleep.
As a kid, I
Yeah.
didn't recognize it, but as an adult, I recognized because there were so many times like he'd get up and I'd be like, hey, like we'd all be like, what are you doing up? And he's
Sure.
like, oh, I
I'm
feel
ready to
great.
go.
And
Yeah.
I know he didn't feel
Sure.
great. I know he was probably freaking exhausted.
Sure.
But he, you know what? Like if he was home, he showed up.
Yeah. It's interesting to me because like there's so many things that in adulthood you recognize that your parents, like as a kid,
Yeah.
it doesn't register. As a kid, you're like, oh, that's weird, or that's a different schedule, or whatever, and like that's as far as it goes. But like in adulthood, you understand sort of the level of the sacrifice, or you're able to measure it because you have, wisdom and perspective, and the fact that you are an adult yourself, and just working, and all the things that go into. It doesn't seem like a big deal at a time because you're in a kid brain, and then when you're an adult, you're like, oh, that was a way bigger sacrifice than I had any understanding
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
Like you just don't have the concept. I think for me, like one of the things, my dad was always really present too, and he also work ethic, and not to sound redundant, but like my dad's a worker. Like we talk about this all the time as a family. Like he'll never retire.
Yeah.
He just won't. Like it's not in him. He's not a retirement kind of guy. That's not his jam. That's not anything he's interested in. That's not anything in his DNA. And he's just going to do what he does, because that's who he is. And so I think all of us, all the three of us have some semblance of that all the time. And I also, just more specifically, like, if there is something to be done, stop waiting for anyone else to do it. Just do it. Like that's very much my dad. Like I'm so confused about like why you're waiting for somebody else to do this thing
Right.
when you have two hands. Just get to it already. And like very specific, right? Like if you want something, just work. And if you don't have it yet, just like work harder. Like let's go. Spend more time. Like so just like very but then I've said this on multiple podcasts too. Like my dad just like was our number one fan.
Yeah.
Like
He still is.
I mean, president of the fan club.
Still
like
is.
whatever you're about, I'm about it. Like you want to do it, I'm about it. And
That's where
he's like that.
That's where our parents are different.
Yeah.
Like my parents were very unified in
Sure.
that like we are your number one
Sure.
fan. In
Yeah.
your house, like
I'm not saying my
Fred-
mom's not
I'm
my
not-
fan.
I'm not saying that
she just has
either.
a different personality.
But like
that
Fred-
wasn't her.
Yeah, your dad.
Focus. Yeah.
Yeah, your dad
Yeah.
was like
President of the fan club, like
Yes.
number one, like whatever his kids have going on, he's about it. And still, like to this day, I think it's actually one of his like greater qualities of like it's something that he has to work on because it's not natural to him to like, because he is such a worker, he's always everywhere and doing
Yeah.
a lot of things. And he's a very busy guy and there's a lot going on. And so I think as kids, like we sort of lamented the fact that like, oh, he was always late to everything, like
Right.
sporting events or whatever,
Right.
but he was always there.
not past tense either.
But no, but all,
Yeah.
like 30 minutes late, 45 minutes late. Sometimes, like significantly late to things, but he was showing up and we were there. But I was still like, as a kid, like we all sort of have that memory of him. Like, oh, he was always late because he was saying yes to everything, which I also struggle with myself. So I understand. But he was present when he was there, and he is just like a fan, like a number one fan, and still like that with our kids. Like very much like whatever they have going on, he's about what they have going on. He's interested, he's asking questions. He wants to know how they're doing and how they're progressing and what they care about and where their focus is and all, like he's just like a good inquirer about the things that were important to us.
Yeah.
And still is.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the really great gifts among many, but like that's one that stands out.
He's still good at that.
Very much so.
And has extended that to his
Sure.
in-law children.
Yeah.
In a really deep and profound way.
I think both the brother-in-laws and for Lizzie and all the grandkids and even,
Yeah.
like my sister was just talking about like her kids they have like a fun run. It's to raise money for the school or whatever. And my dad had donated and she was kind of like, whoa, like they're little. Why'd you donate so much? And he like wrote like a really nice message so they get to see it while they're running.
Because he's president of the fan club.
That's who he is. He's president of the fan club.
Yeah.
If they're about it, he's about it.
Yeah.
And it's a great quality.
Yeah.
It's a really great quality.
How does having a strong father figure shape a child's identity?
Oh, that's a great question. Do you have an answer to this?
Sure.
Go ahead. Don't want to step on your words.
If you want to go first,
I
go for
would
it.
just say, so mothers and fathers shape their children in all different ways, right? And you don't choose your parents, and you don't choose like what and how much you get of each of them, right?
Correct.
Like everybody.
It's why
I
phrase this as like father figure.
Totally, and
Yes.
I understand what you're saying with that. Like I get it, because not everybody has a choice. Like it doesn't work like that for every family. Looks different. However, I would say, and I'd be interested to hear my dad answer this question, but I would say that like like there's an old saying, how the father goes, so goes the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely find that to be true in my life, in our life, in our marriage, but
Sure.
also in my own family life and my initial family, like as the oldest child of that, because I definitely feel like all of us as kids tracked towards whatever, not to please my dad, but just like we all have his work ethic, I would say, to some
Sure.
degree. We all, have his drive and ambition, I would say. Like we also have his optimism in thinking that we can do everything we want to do and there's nothing off the table. Like that's definitely from my dad, which my mom was just like a little bit more reserved and just, she's methodical. She's more thought out. Like she's like a way more of a linear thinker, where my dad's just like very visionary, very big picture, very like, yeah, you can do whatever you want in this life, but not in like a jocular way, like in a legit, like, no, you can do whatever you want in this life. Nothing's off the table.
Yeah.
It depends on how you're willing to work, and that's it. And so that I feel like has shaped a lot of our identity. It definitely shaped my family. Like we would talk about like being a slack as a kid. This is really funny, and this is a really weird thing, but like when you and I first got married, I didn't want to change my last name.
You didn't for a long
And you
time.
were like, well, I didn't. Like just because logistically it was a giant pain in the ass.
It is a pain in the ass.
And I had like my, like your passport and all this stuff, and it doesn't.
Also, changing from Slack to Keating.
I know. It was
just
a mouthful.
That mashup of vowels
and I also
consonants.
had to like change, like I was teaching at the time, so like changing it's just like confusing for the kids. It's just there's a lot of things that go with
Slack
it.
to
Yeah.
Mrs. Keishnick.
Yeah, it was weird. I went to Mrs. K because like Keisha, there's just like too many logistical challenges, so I didn't.
For the first year that after you changed it, I would hear you as you're writing it down. Kies, still writing, right? Like
I know. I was joking.
Every
I was
time.
joking with
Every
somebody
time.
else because I was like, oh, it's such a mouthful. All that to be said, a part of my very core identity was like, oh, I'm a Slack.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest Slack.
You're the oldest of
We're
Team
a package
Slack.
deal.
Yeah.
We're Team Slack, and very much so. Like the people we went to high school with. Oh, you're a Slack. Because my dad is from the town that we grew up in, city that we grew up in, like he had been born and raised there. Like everybody knew, Friday, like just like very much a history, which is a weird thing, but like it was very identity driven for me. I was like, I don't know what it means to be a Keishnick to you. And you were like, oh, yeah. It's like, because I know what it means to be a slack.
Yeah.
Do you? You know, and just like team, you know, like we're a team and very, it's funny how much like names and all of that stuff carries, but that's like all very much from my dad.
Yeah.
We were very unified in sort of not only our identity, but just like who we were, how we were raised, how we saw the world and approached the world. And it was very, very entrenched in sort of the way my dad just ran the family, I would say, or his role in our family. Yeah. What about you?
I think father figures teach young boys what being a man looks like, sounds like, feels like.
Sure. I would say that's true for women too.
I agree.
How my dad treated me was directly related to how my dating life went and who was acceptable or who was not.
That was going to be the other part of what I said.
Didn't mean to step on your words.
Strong
there you go.
fathers and strong father figures teach their daughters how they should be treated by men.
Yeah.
And that is both good and bad.
Yes, for very much so.
Because like what I hope I'm teaching Charlotte, like, hey, like men should treat you really, really well. Really well. Like, look how I treat you. Look how I treat your mom.
Right.
Like, that's how men should treat women. It's not lost on me that some people learn how to treat other people because they were treated poorly by father figures who are not very strong. But I also watched my dad treat my mom and my sisters very, very well. Still does. Treats them so well.
I also think, too, and this is going to sound like a caveat, but like as a woman, I think it's really important to understand how to interact with men respectfully, because to that point, if you have people that don't treat you well, whatever that father figure is, but then as that person in a relationship, you like bite back or you do unhealthy things in response or reciprocate in that way, I think there needs to be really clear boundaries and expectations and sort of delineated, just really clear parameters around what it looks like to be in a respectful relationship with anyone. You know, so like my dad treated my mom beautifully, but then there were other things that like, you know, that they had to work on. You know, nothing's perfect. And so just how that dance went between the two of them, I think I learned a lot there of like what was okay as a woman. You know, and my mom and I, and this is not anything new to her, but she would say like, you know, the women in my family treated the men a certain way. And she would own that very specifically. And so I would say too, like I learned a lot from that of like, okay, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. You know, I don't want to bag on you. I don't want to talk trash about you. I don't want to be demeaning to you.
It's one of my least favorite things with couples. Like, if you're ever like, if we're ever with a couple and there's a question like, are we going to hang out with this couple again? If they bag on each other, either in each other's company or even worse, away from each other's company, I'm out.
Well, and I'm not saying that like, I don't whine about you here and there, because let's be real.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
I do.
Give you plenty to whine about.
Well, I'm just saying there's annoying things that I will be like, oh, that was annoying, and I will voice it out loud. You know, like I'm not shrinking away from stuff like that, but I'm not constantly shaming you and bagging on you and other, you know, like that is like a very unique thing that like came from my dad of like, hey, this is appropriate and you could always have conversations with me, but here's what's not appropriate. In fairness, there were some probably adult conversations that I had later on in life with my dad that I was probably a little harsh on that I probably should apologize for, you know, for whatever emotional, you know, time that I was having or I was angry or whatever else. And he took it really sort of respectfully well, like as a wonderful father should. And I probably, you know, I probably need to own like pieces of that, like, oh, sorry, that was probably out of line. But just even like that dance, you know, that dance with how to like broach the opposite sex and how to engage respectfully and how to not be intimidated and not take shit, but, you know, but also when to laugh and when to be appropriate and when to big up you and all the things that you actually are doing well and not, you know, get pulled into the like toxic masculinity combo or like whatever, you know. I don't feel like that from you. And I would say you're a strong alpha, but that was not anything. And I would say my dad's a strong alpha, but there was not ever a place in my life where I was like, oh, the men in my life are toxic, or, you know, like it was never that. Like it was always very balanced and very healthy and very, I just would say respectful of my brother, respectful of my dad. I would say that the men that we brought home, so few of them, God love them. And the ones that we married, because, you know, like we're not an easy family. You could admit to that. Like we're not easy to be around or be married into.
Most people don't have easy families.
No, I would say we have exceptional gifts in that area.
Y'all are in each other's business.
We are.
Yeah.
We're a real team, and that's not always healthy. Anyways, it's not healthy. But I do appreciate just like all that my dad gave me in that sense of like how to maneuver and just be mature and work through a lot of those things without bagging on anyone or demeaning them or degrading them or making them feel less than. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope, while still standing up for myself. It's very hard. It's hard.
Oh,
it's hard raising girls, Yeah. It's hard raising children.
It's hard raising children. Yeah.
It's not easy. Anyway.
Let's play a little he said, she said.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Let's do it. Here we are.
All right, vulnerability time. Oh, boy.
I don't know. This one's going to be, dads, are you going to get emo on this? We'll see.
I mean, I've already gotten emo once
okay.
already. I mean,
probably.
It's on the
This is
table
how
for
we
sure.
roll. Mm-hmm.
All right, Kaylee,
Okay,
let us have it.
You ready? Mm-hmm. All right. Who's more likely to get emotional during a Father's Day or Mother's Day card or gift?
Oh.
More likely to get emotional. Okay.
You don't. Okay.
Hold on. And you ready?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I said me. Okay, good. I said card, gift you.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Molly's
Yeah.
a words girl.
I am.
Molly
I
is a
am.
words girl. So
if they can't tell.
Yeah. So
by my very verbose person.
like a well-written
personality.
card.
Yes.
That is emotional kryptonite for
It
you.
is. It is.
I'm more likely to get emotional about a gift.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the type of gift.
No.
But just that it was
The receiving
just
and
that
the thought.
it was thought of.
Yeah.
I think
Very
is
much
really
so.
is really thoughtful.
Good. Okay, great.
Which is the thing I've had to learn about you because there's
Yes.
so many times where I'm just like I won't get a card. I'll just get a gift.
Yeah.
Right? Well, why would I get a card?
I care
Here's-
more about the card than
Hey,
usually I do about the gift sometimes.
You do, and I don't care about the like.
Because I'm not a gift.
No.
I mean, I am. I like whatever, but I'm not.
I'm also of the mindset like if I'm going to give you a card, like hey,
Sure.
here's some words that somebody else wrote that I think are great for you. I think that's so stupid. I think that's so
Well,
stupid.
just write them
but,
yourself,
yeah.
and then you don't have to. But it is funny. I am very much a words
Yeah.
girl.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
But really funny.
All right.
Yeah.
So which one of you is more like your own father? And is that a good thing or a scary thing?
Ooh, this is a tricky one, and I'll say this. Okay.
Okay. 3,
Ready?
2, 1.
I said both. I think you're a lot like Phil.
Okay.
I think both of us are.
Okay.
I think both of us definitely track more towards our dads. Don't you? I am a lot like my dad.
Yes, I said
I
Molly,
mean,
Fred, and I said
yes.
scary because. Why do you think I said scary?
Why it's scary that I'm a lot like him?
Yes.
How much time do we have?
He's-
I mean, oh gosh.
I just mean temperament.
I know. We're both extroverted. We're both extroverted, like very extroverted. We both
I also
like a lot of people.
I also am thinking like it's scary how similar you are.
Yeah.
Like Fred has the same superpower you have, where like he remembers everyone's
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I get
you
that
have
right from
that.
him.
Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
scary how similar
Yeah,
that is.
yeah.
But also like you and Fred have the same temperament, where if somebody says a thing that you don't like.
I mean, it depends
And-
on the person, but
Yeah.
yes, if
That
you
happened to us this morning. This morning, Molly bought some coffee mugs from Pottery Barn. They're the ugliest coffee mugs I've ever seen.
Okay,
And they don't
yeah.
hold a 12-ounce cup of coffee.
Okay.
And
Yes.
I made the suggestion this morning. Hey,
It wasn't a suggestion, but okay. Carry on.
My exact words
Yeah,
were, hey, can we get rid of all of these lower coffee
Yes.
mugs off the mug tree?
Yeah. I didn't blow up. You're
Molly
making that
Renee.
very dramatic.
Why do people lie?
I immediately bit back because one, I had not had
I
any
didn't bite.
coffee yet.
I didn't bite.
I think you don't know yourself. However, I read between the lines. I immediately bit back and said, sure, I will get rid of those as soon as you get rid of all of your XYZ of how much of the crap we have in there. That's not for now. However, I was not received well. I had yet to have coffee.
It was not.
So we're passionate people. Yes, I get that exactly from my dad.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Probably in ways that aren't healthy, I would say.
Yeah.
I think we've both mellowed in our old age. His older than mine. I'm hoping to mellow more.
I think that's an interesting observation.
I'm hoping to mellow more. I definitely am
hoping.
mellower than I was when we were initially married.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Great. I do think you're like your dad, though. You're very
Yeah.
generous. You're very giving. That's definitely.
I get
your
a
dad.
lot.
Yeah.
It's scary for me how as I get older,
Oh yeah, you're a lot like.
I'm
him.
a lot like
Yeah,
my dad.
yeah.
I like there's some mornings I get up and look at the mirror and I'm like, holy shit, it's my dad. Right? Like
You do look a lot like too.
like even the way we talk,
Yeah.
like it's
Your voice is.
it's wild.
It is wild.
Okay.
Okay.
Who is more nervous becoming a parent for the first time?
Wow. Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands down.
You-
You broached it like you broach everything in this life, which is like, we're going to be awesome. We're going to crush this.
This is gonna
It's
be the
gonna
greatest thing
amazing.
ever.
And I think I was like, well, I'm actually carrying this baby. And also, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
I'm new here. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
First pregnancy, first child. Everybody? Anybody? You know, like there's a lot. The learning curve was high.
You cried in the ultrasound room when we
That
found out
was with
Charlotte was a
Shar.
girl.
That was with Shar.
That was
I mean, I was probably like theoretically, like, let's be real, way hormonal. And
well, you were pregnant.
I mean, I was, but I was probably like a little postpartum from Everett still too, because they were pretty close together.
You had the jelly on your belly, and she said, she goes, "Do you want to know what the gender is?" Yes.
You said yes.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and
the
I was
people
like,
the people out there
sure.
who don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't
Good for them.
understand.
Yeah.
I want to know
That's not
immediately.
us.
I wanted
Yeah.
to know 6 weeks ago.
We did. Like, had the test been
so she
around, we
said-
could have done the blood test earlier.
Yeah.
We would have done it.
She was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"It's a girl."
Yeah.
And I was so excited. And you,
We've said this
You
before.
cried and you go, "She's gonna hate me."
I said
and the
what-
ultrasound tech was like, "Do you need me to give you guys a moment?"
Yeah. Actually, what I said was, she's going to call me a bitch. That's what I said.
That is what you said.
Like,
That is what you
sobbing through tears.
Yeah. That hasn't
It's
happened
a
yet.
lot. Oh, hasn't it?
Not to our face.
Not to our face.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a lot. It was a lot. I was
Yeah.
very nervous about being a parent.
You
it's
were
a lot.
you were nervous about being a parent of a girl for sure.
I was nervous about being a parent.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Great.
I wasn't. We're gonna be great at this.
We're gonna be awesome.
That tracks.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
Who's more likely to say, go ask your mom or dad?
Who's more likely to say, "Go ask your mom" or "Go ask your dad"?
Okay. Yeah.
Me. I don't.
He defers a lot,
I
which is
don't.
really funny.
I don't
which-
want to also be in trouble. Go ask your mom.
Where the deferring is mostly just like, I don't know the right answer to this, but I know that your mom will. And it's not because you don't want to have an answer. You just haven't talked to me about it and you're afraid to give the wrong answer.
What I want to say to
So-
them instead of "Go ask your mom" is, "Hey, I don't know if I'm authorized to make this decision. Chances are I'm not."
I don't have enough information
I am-
about what you're actually asking me, which is why they're asking you
I am
to
only-
begin with.
I am only the
Spoiler
chief financial
alert.
officer. You have to go ask the chief executive
Thank
officer.
you.
And,
CEO of
yeah,
this thing.
Yeah, we're
Of this cruise ship. My
Yeah,
goodness. It is, everybody has their gifts.
Yeah.
So part of it is like, I would be fine for you to answer.
Well, here's the thing. I
Sure.
don't like having to
I
defer.
know.
I want to be able to make the
know,
choice.
But a lot of the times with stuff like you don't have enough information, usually it's like logistical questions. Can I go here at this time and this? And you're like, oh,
Sure.
I don't know. You do say sure a lot. And I'm like,
Sure.
oh, no.
Oh.
We have this practice, this thing, this thing, this
Yeah.
thing. Did you look at the calendar? Blah, blah, blah.
Where
and
I'm
you don't want to walk
assuming-
it back.
I'm assuming they know that.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
No, they don't
They
have a
don't
clue.
know anything.
And nor do you, which is why
I also don't know
everyone's
anything.
not operating
No.
CEO.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's the designated disciplinarian and who's the fun parent?
Who's the disciplinarian? Who's the funny
Oh.
parent?
Okay.
3, 2,
Oh,
1.
that doesn't look like an Aaron. Or an N.
Oh.
There you go.
Why
I
don't
put
you-
Weston and
Let the
Weston.
people
Me?
know. Say the words.
Yeah, me.
Okay.
It's me for both.
And I said Weston and Weston.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I am.
Um,
That's
Yeah.
okay. Good. I'm so
Okay.
glad we're aligned on this.
Are you?
It's
Did you
100%.
think we were going to be off?
I'm.
Do you think I don't have eyes or live in our house?
I'm. Well, this is. I think it's a
Okay.
weird thing about us. Like, I'm definitely.
I don't think it is if people know you.
Sure. I'm.
Yeah.
I'm the fun parent, which you lament
I
from time to time.
Yeah. I lament that I don't also get to be the fun parent because you get to be more Disney-esque because you get to come and go.
Sure.
But that's the nature of our life, and I have to let that go. It is what it is. Keep going. Yeah.
But I'm also the disciplinarian.
Yes and
for sure.
no.
Like I'm sure some people are not going to like this, but
Sure.
I do think there's abundant power in the phrase, wait till your father gets home.
I don't ever say that.
No.
But I do. I
But that
don't
feeling is
because
real.
I don't like. I'm not going to hold that over the kids' head. Not to mention, like, I'm not trying to relinquish mine.
Yeah.
And give it to you. Like, that's not a thing. However, knowing our children, just like real talk, knowing kids how they are. One of our child really heeds my discipline one of our children heeds my discipline very well. The other one's like,
You have
what did
no
you
power
say,
here.
lady?
Yeah.
You don't have any enforcement here.
Yeah.
So part of it is like, you have to treat them as they are as children. It has nothing to do with you or your level of power discipline. A lot of it has to do with them and their nature and the way in which they receive feedback and consequences. And just real talk, one of us is more effective with one than they are of other.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there needs to be, I mean, this is not from my dad, but this is something my parents always heeded to very well, which is like, parents who love you give you rules, expectations, and boundaries.
Yes.
And that's the way we live our life. That's the way my family sort of adhered to. Definitely your family, I would say that's the way we raise our children. A lot of our home life, we would relax a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
And so I would say that because of the nature of that, you just are that.
Okay.
For us,
Yeah.
as our family,
And
because
we
we don't necessarily like the roles.
That's not to
We
say
just
that
take
you
them
aren't
on.
fun or aren't
Right.
a disciplinarian.
I know.
I'm just more so of
I know.
both.
It
Okay.
just that's how things shake out.
All right.
All right.
I'm really enjoying this.
Okay.
I'm so glad.
that makes one of
I
us.
know. It's all good.
All right. So who gives better life advice according to the kids?
Who gives better life advice according to the kids? 3, 2, 1.
We think we're very important. You think you
I
give
wonder if
better
our-
life advice
I wonder if
according
our-
to the kids?
I wonder if our
Hold
kids would
on.
say neither.
Hold on. I agree. Tell me how you're thinking about this question in your brain. What sort of life advice have you given the kids?
I'm tiptoeing into such a minefield right now.
This is not a tiptoe. I'm asking
I
you
need you to know
honestly.
that I know that this is there's potential for explosivity here.
Oh gosh.
You do good.
Walk it back. Walk it back.
You give good
Sure.
life advice.
Okay.
You bury that life advice under a mountain of redundancy and additional information.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Which means I think it's less likely to be heard and processed. I feel like, oh, sweet mother. Yeah,
Just say
one
what
of
you're
us
gonna
is
say.
enjoying this
no,
right
you're
now.
fine. Say what you're going to say because then I can either agree or negate it. But yes.
I feel like
Just
I
tell me.
do a better job of when I'm sitting down talking to the kids, like I'm going to listen in totality before I insert that life advice. So like I want to hear more, and then I'm going to give you the little nugget, and then I want to hear more from you.
Yes, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would say that I'm more intuitive about the children in terms of like their actual needs. So you do that.
I agree, but
hold
the
on.
question was according to the children.
No, that's not how I heard it.
Yeah.
Was that the question?
Who gives the better life advice according to the kids?
According to the children. I would still think it would be me.
Okay.
I
We're asking them
need
this
to
question when
ask
they
them
get
the
home
second.
today.
I'm like, want to text them on my phone right now, but they don't have their phones at school.
Yeah,
They can't
the
text back.
second they get
I'm
home.
so interested in this. Yeah. I would say it would be different depending on the child.
We're asking.
We have to ask.
All right.
Yeah. I do that. You're right. So let me just agree with you. Yes, you do listen in totality. You do give them feedback in the totality of what they tell you. You don't always have all the information.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I give in totality of the situation of things that they say to me and things that they don't say to me, but I also know to be true
Okay.
about the situations that they're currently in.
To be continued.
Sure.
We're
That's a
asking the
really
children.
good one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
I mean, honestly, I think you guys should come back.
I know. I was going to
Yeah.
say TBD. We got to
Yeah.
give that answer.
Yeah.
We got
Absolutely.
to.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
All
Good
right.
one.
What man in your life has the most dad skills, like fixing things, grilling, or embarrassing the kids in public?
Big Phil, my dad. Yeah,
Like,
that was so easy.
I know it was. We were both there, like, oh, hands down.
What
Phil.
man in our life has
Yeah.
the most dad
Yeah.
skills?
I mean, he is
my dad.
Phil is Bob Vila.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone under 40 is not going to understand that reference.
My
at all, but
dad's
yeah.
like one of the things I love so much about my dad
Yeah.
is like his hobby is being helpful.
He is,
My
yeah.
dad doesn't fish. He doesn't play golf. He doesn't have like my dad's
Here
hobby-
and there, but
Yes,
like that's not
he'll
his
do all those
primary
things,
focus. Yes.
But that's not like
Yes.
like his hobby is being helpful.
Yeah, he really is a
And
great helper.
He like if you want to talk about dad skills,
Yeah.
like I still am
Yeah.
always tapping into those dad skills.
Yeah, he helped me build a table.
Yes.
We built a table. I said, I want to build this table. And Phil's like, I'll help you. And then we did.
Yeah.
It was great.
Molly-
Like, got all the,
That's
we
where
do
he's-
a lot of projects
That's
together,
where
Phil
he's
and I.
so good. Like
Yeah.
you will straight
Yeah.
up just call my dad with
Yes.
a project.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening at my
Sure.
house.
Yeah.
I like you have said around our house a number of times,
Yeah.
I need a handyman.
Yes.
And I was like,
Just call Phil.
call my
Yeah.
dad. I'm
Yeah.
not it.
But more so than that, just like be willing to, like, you know, like when you're on the road, he would like drive Everett to practice or be able to pick
Totally.
up, or you know what I mean? Like he just, and granted, your parents are retired now, mine are not, or more recent. My dad's
Yeah.
not, obviously. I just said that, but
Yeah.
so they have a little bit more free time. But still, even then, like he's just very helpful. Like he just
Totally.
So he,
Yeah.
he's a real.
And he fulfills the last part of that
Yes.
too. Like also most
He's a
likely to
fixer.
be embarrassing. Like
Yeah. Oh,
my
yeah, he
dad,
does that too. Yeah.
with his
all
loud
the
Keishnik
things.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All encompassing.
But it all comes from a good place.
It does.
Yeah.
All encompassing.
All right.
That's a great one.
Love
Yeah.
it. All right, last question.
Okay.
If your kids had to describe dad in one word,
Sure.
what would they say, and what would it match? And would it match what you think?
Go.
3, 2, 1. Ah!
Whoa.
This actually is appropriate because I think it's exactly to what you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
is like
so
that
I
you're
need you guys to
simultaneously.
say
Oh,
the
sorry.
words.
So-
mine says fun and his
And
says
mine
strict.
says strict.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
really funny. But that I think that tracks totally with the disciplinary and also your fun one.
I also
think
also
totally.
think this is a worry that I have.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm a strict dad.
Sure. I think that's more your worry. I think it's less maybe than what they would say. Do you think? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, you're really fun. You are always playful. You're always scheduling
But
like a
I'm-
lot of fun
I'm-
stuff.
I'm also strict.
You
I
are.
have super high expectations.
You do.
Like that's not lost on me
Well,
either.
and I think so. I'm thinking like in the totality of their life, like when you know, I think as they've gotten older, you've probably gotten a little bit stricter in terms of expectations and that sort of thing.
Sure.
I don't necessarily know if that's how they would feel forever.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. Maybe
Well,
we'll ask them.
we'll ask 'em.
TBD. This
All
is
right.
a really good one.
Yeah, Molly,
Yeah.
final thoughts to wrap us up.
Congrats to
about-
all the dads out there. It's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it, and we're proud you did. Way to, you know, it's
Yeah.
a really important job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great, and
Yeah.
it gets more difficult, increasingly difficult as the years go. And I'm really grateful for all the dads out there.
To all the dads
Yeah.
out there, all the great
Yeah.
dads.
Our great dads.
Thanks for doing a great job. Thanks for
Yeah.
taking care of the
Yeah.
kids, for the new dads, expecting dads. Like,
Yeah.
hey, take care of your children.
Father figures, everybody.
Physically, mentally,
Yeah.
emotionally,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah, they don't get
it's
enough credit.
Profoundly
so
impactful.
Enjoy that day.
Thanks, as always, for listening to this episode of Teaching Keating. We will see you next week. As always, like, subscribe, find us on YouTube, find us anywhere you get podcasts. You can find us in Italy.
Yeah.
Here, we are super
Yep.
excited.
Yep.
Molly, where can we find you?
Well, I will be on the plane also with you.
Yes.
I'm not staying here and you're going. I got to
Yes,
go too. So
that's
it'll be
right.
great. I'll be excited to share all our fun adventures when we get back.
Yep.
Yay.
All right. We'll see you next
Be
time.
well.
Be well.